live on Facebook. Just gonna take me 1 second here. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our weekly lesson. This is Sami Abu Saad with T3 Live. Again, welcome to my weekly videos. As always, thanks for tuning in. We're gonna go ahead and get started right away, but before I do that, as always, if you find benefit in today's video, please be sure to hit the like button. Also, beneath the video, you'll find a few helpful links if you'd like to check them out for later. I dropped a link to my one of my favorite webinars that I did on how to write the perfect trading plan. So there's a link for that in the description. Feel free to check it out after the video. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Actually, before I get started, as you know, standard required disclaimer to let you know that trading is risky and that whatever we discuss today is for educational purposes only. All right, so what we do in this video, as you all know, is go over the market and then go over some swing ideas for Monday. Now, last weekend, I said the market is looking higher, but I said I wouldn't still commit to a bias until we broke out. Why did I say it was looking higher? Because of that curling 20 MA. We went back above the moving average on the daily chart of the QQQ or the SPY, exact same, so it doesn't matter. And and then eventually this week we broke out above it. So the bias is back to decisively bullish. As someone in the room said, well, what about the resistance? Yeah, there is resistance, absolutely. Above, there is overhead resistance above, but that doesn't mean the bias is bearish. Does that make sense? So now that we broke out above the base, we shouldn't go back down. If we do, then that's a really bad sign. Okay, so if we do, it'll be a really bad sign. But I'm gonna go with a bullish bias for next week. We also have a 1, 2, 3 setup right here. That's kind of a 1, 2, 3. 1 and then 2, and then on Monday, if we take out the 2 bars highs here, then it'll be a 1, 2, 3 setup, which can be used as an entry, as a swing entry into the market, into the Qs or the SPY. I think they look pretty much identical. Yeah, almost identical. The Qs and the SPY. There's a bad tick on the SPY right here, bad print. This is not a big bottoming tail. This was a gap up. Okay, so if you look at the hourly chart right here, you don't see a bottoming tail. We see a gap up, so there's just a bad tick on the daily chart to the SPY. Otherwise, the Qs and the SPY look pretty much identical. I agree with the comment that we discussed in the room yesterday that there is a good amount of resistance above. But as I said, the trend is up, and now the bias is back to bullish. We'll see how the market handles the resistance. I'm not worried about the resistance. What I'm more concerned about is the market actually, this being a kind of a head fake or a fake move, basically, fake breakout, and then, coming back down into the base. That would be not cool, because this was the sloppiest base I've seen in my entire career, perhaps. So I'd like to see the market continue higher. With that in mind, I have a watch list to go over with you. There's a lot of items on the watch list, I guess, the bullish watch list. I'll give you kind of what my favorites are, but if you're in the strategic swing trader, I already picked the plays for Monday. I'm taking 3 trades, 2 longs and 1 short. Okay, they're all long-term plays. They're not even swing trades. I would consider all 3 of them to be more long-term core trades than short-term swing trades. Does that make sense? And 2 longs and 1 short. I gave you a bunch of ideas also with the numbers, but the ones that I'm taking, the official trades, they're the 3 that you see if you log into your account under the official trades table. Okay, so feel free to log in and check those out, or wait for Monday morning. The newsletter goes out around 8 o'clock or so. BSX, what a beauty. Beautiful daily breakout, weekly breakout, monthly breakout. What else do we want? So it looks good all around on the BSX. Okay, CECE is transitioning on the daily chart. This was an earnings play not too long ago, I guess a month ago. Wow, it's been a month as a short, and now it's trying to transition back up. It's been in a severe downtrend for quite some time. See, it topped out in October 2017 and at 58, I think. Yeah, 58. Now it's at 14 bucks. Notice, my friends, that when stocks are bullish, they just go and go and go and go, and you don't even see red bars. In this case, we did get 2 red bars in a matter of, I mean, it bottomed at the beginning almost of 2016, and then it went all the way up to 58 bucks at the end of 2017, almost. That's almost 2 years. Not quite, but that's like a year and 8 months. And all we see is 2 red bars. And when it tops out, in this case, we did get kind of a 1, 2, 3, maybe you can say that's a green bar. So we did get a few green bars, but all you see mostly are red bars. What is the message here? The message is, when we're bullish, we're not bullish enough. When we're bearish, we're not bearish enough. Right? The people that caught the bottom at 3 bucks, probably 0% of them held it to 58. The people that caught the top at 58 or anywhere there, 54, 55, how many of them stayed in it until 14 bucks or until 11 bucks? Probably 2%. So the message, again, when you play momentum stocks is, you need to be, when you're bullish, you need to be really bullish. When you're bearish, you need to be really bearish. Same here. Look at that. Right? From $4 to 31, then from 31 to 0 to 7 cents before it probably re-emerged from bankruptcy or something happened. And then does that make sense? So momentum stocks, when you're bullish on them, you really need to stay bullish for a long time. So I like the CC over the base, stop under it. CVNA is a breakout over the base. This is tricky a little bit because there is a place to put the stop right here, right there, or under the entire base. Under the entire base, I think would be too big of a stop, personally. And then under the red bar would be too tight. So that leaves us with kind of the green bars low. Generally speaking, if there's 3 places to put the stop under, usually I use the tightest or the widest. I don't use the in-between, because the in-between doesn't serve a purpose, meaning the tightest gives you the tightest stop, right? When you have a tight stop, you can have a large share size. The widest is the most secure, so you don't get shaken out of it. The in-between, again, it's not the tightest, it's not the widest, it's not the most secure. So usually it doesn't serve a purpose, but in this case, that's where I would put my stop, under 82.50. So I'd put it at 82.49 on CVNA. Daily breakout, weekly breakout, monthly breakout, it's at all-time highs. Beautiful. DPLO is a transition A. It transitioned already on Wednesday, so that should have been the entry. But if not in it already, there's also a 1, 2, 3, 4 breakout right here. Okay, so I like it. It's a daily transition A, weekly transition A. That's not bad. Excess, Texas. I mean, how can you not love this? The market drops like a rock. This thing stays at the all-time high. This is the ultimate bullishness. Look at that. Look at this stock, guys. It's just amazing. No wonder why it's called exact sciences. This is a science. This is really, really bullish. I like it. Like it over the base, stop under it, and then go on vacation. Leave it alone. Like it as a long-term trade, actually. IFRX, would have to open up the chart for you to see it, but it's kind of a breakout, basically. Over the base, stop under it. Moving average starting to curl up a little bit. It's not my favorite, but one of these days is going to pop, right? Will it be next week? I don't know. It's not one of the 3 that I'm looking to play. Just a hint. IOVA is a breakout on the daily chart, but it's not the daily that I like. It's the weekly. How can you not like this weekly buy setup? Oh my God, it looks gorgeous. There are a couple of issues with it. You know what they are? It'll be probably hard for you to know what they are. One is when momentum stocks top out, they don't go back up usually right away. Okay, they drop and drop. So this thing just topped out a month and a half ago or so, 4, 5, 6 weeks ago. So that's number one. Number two is it topped out through a gap, a bearish gap down. So when they gap down, you know, I don't like trends ending in a gap, so that's a little bearish, but I like it enough to play. IOVA, weekly buy setup, love it. Okay. MAXR is a potential trend break. See that kind of trend line that you can draw. And then so if it pops over, I think 750 or 750, let's take a look. Yeah, 747. Stop would be under 668. So it's going to be a weekly buy setup. Deep pullback for sure, but it's a transitionary weekly buy setup. And a trend break on the daily chart. NGD is another weekly buy setup. It's gold. Gold, actually, I'm going to talk about it in a separate video in the next few minutes that I'm going to do. So feel free to tune into that as well. Weekly buy setup, long and stop. Okay, so I like it. Not bad at all. Problem is the timing with the gold market topping out potentially. That's the only issue. TLRD is a transition A. I do think retail bottomed. Retail stocks, so TLRD, Urban. Look at Urban on the monthly. That's a nice, healthy, chunky range expansion bottoming tail. So I like over the base, stop just under that green bar's low. And then where to? To maybe 30 bucks, maybe to 33, depending on where the moving average is at by the time it gets there. Notice when it bounces, this thing really goes. It went from 15 to 60. Look at this, to 52 from 16 bucks. So I like it as a longish term play. So TLRD, Urban, Retail, Transition A on the TLRD. This is a little bit better, by the way. Twitter is super hot. Last week when I did the video, I said Twitter is the hottest on my from my list, and it broke out nicely. It looks really, really good. I'm gonna actually talk about it in the next video as well. TXMD is a daily buy setup. Target would be the prior pivot high. Shorts, I only have 4 because I'm mostly bullish, but I got 4. This is basing at the lows, all-time lows. Looks lower. It's very thin, so I won't be giving you the entry and the stop. But you can always, if you want to get the entry and the stop, look at the daily, look at the hourly. You know, if let's just say this is actually not one of the 3, so I'll go ahead and talk about it. If I wanted to play this, where would the stop go? It's clear, isn't it? Right here. Where's the entry? Right here. Should be clear. It's not always super clear, but in this case, look at the hourly, look at the daily. That will make things clearer. JNJ, don't like the daily, and the weekly though, the monthly is a transition C. Having said that, I just want you to know, I don't usually play name brands short because they didn't become, Johnson & Johnson didn't become Johnson & Johnson by being stupid, okay? So usually the name brands, I don't like to short really, but it is setting up as a short on the monthly chart, okay? Planet Fitness, been one of the hottest stocks the last couple of years, and is not so hot right now. It's got a 1, 2, 3 on the daily chart, right here, stop right here. This is more of a swing trade, not a core short. Yelp is more of a core short, because Yelp is setting up on the monthly, and it really, really looks lower. Yelp reminds me a little bit of Groupon, which I mentioned a couple weeks back, maybe like 3, 4 weeks ago. Mentioned it 2 weeks in a row because it was so good. And if we look at Groupon, it worked. That breakdown, that monthly, I can open up the chart to show you more, better. See how nice it was? It was gorgeous. Short. I did it as an earnings play actually. And that was it. That was on July 31st. Okay, so this was it, and then from there it just basically collapsed, right? Let's see. July 31st, Groupon. I don't know where it is. It's one of these. July 31st. Oh, there it is. See, I couldn't see it. 1686, and then in one account, In the other account 1686, because I tried in both accounts, I tried to get the same quantity, but sometimes I didn't get the same quantity, right? Are they all? They're not all the same. Okay, so that's, of course, I had a lot of losers that day, but I had huge winners in the TWOU and in the TTOO. Those were huge. Between the two different accounts, they accounted for, look at this. That's like, how much is that? That's not, I mean, that's not $19,000, $18,000. Same here. So that's why, otherwise, the percentages in terms of winners versus losers, I had more losers than winners that day. But at any rate, so those are my ideas for next week. I'm going with 3, 2 longs, 1 short. Again, all 3 are more long-term plays. And we'll see. I'll keep you posted. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, and thanks again so much for tuning in. What else do I want to say? I guess that's it. I'm going to be doing another video in the next few minutes about the hottest stocks in the country, basically the biggest, hottest stocks that we currently have. But until next week, Sami Abu Saad with T3 Live. Good trading, everybody.